I had great expectations for the project. I think I found out about it close to a year ago when Helen at some point just mentioned, oh, we're going to be working out in Taita Pomare again, and there's going to be a workshop when we'll be teaching kids how to make films. And I thought, I need to do this. I'm in. I love working with kids, I really do. I love the work that Film for Change does, and I really enjoy being part of it. So I thought this is bringing two of the things that I really enjoy doing together, which is great.
And basically what we did is we went out and we gathered some local stories and let the kids hear those. And then we encouraged the kids to come up with their own stories, which we turned into sort of fun local legends.
They were exposed to a whole lot of local legends, but then they were allowed to take it truly, as children do, and turn it upside down and make their own stories. And that's okay, that's what this was about. This was about children being able to be creative and express their stories in a different way.
That's a huge part of filmmaking, is to be able to tell a story. And there are heaps of kids out there that don't have that kind of opportunity. So what we thought we should do is that we could go to Taita in Pomare primary school, and we sort of work with these kids, teach them how to sort of get their creativity and their ideas down on paper, and then eventually just turn it into like an awesome short film.
The Taita Pomare community was such a big help in running these workshops and making these films, because we had volunteers from all over. We all just came together to reach for a common goal, and it really goes to show the power of community in achieving those kinds of goals.
We had 5 workshops in total. The first workshop, we took the kids out on a bus when the bus turned up. That was the first challenge of the whole thing. And we went and heard different locals telling different legends and stories about the local area.
But his friend Nucky was very different. He never kept still. He was the sort of tiny father that ran around all over the place. Well, he couldn't run, he swam. And he went round and round and round and round out there, and when he was bored, he would do great big leaps, and he would leap right over the island.
It's quite important that in our culture that it's not necessarily handed down eldest son to eldest son. But in Māori we pass it down to the most able. And Wītapu Ngātata was considered the most able person in the tribe.
The second day was about learning how to tell your own stories and script writing.
We started off by exercising the kids' creativity and seeing how they tell stories and what kind of stories they come up with. And then we sort of developed that idea by getting them to brainstorm, write it down, and then we structured it into a story, and then eventually we gave them the skills that they needed to make these films happen.
When we were coming up with the scripts, I thought I was going to have to be guiding these kids through the basics of narrative structure. You know, something good happens, but then something bad happens. They just dove right in and put out this incredibly imaginative version of their local history.
You would think that the kids would come up with certain ideas, you know, you'd be like, oh yeah, they'll write about this and this and this, but their minds are so uncontrollable, and they just came up with these incredible stories that I wouldn't have never even thought of, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Rosietta saw everything and decided to reward their friendship by turning them back into Mataita and making him a prince.
The third day was about preparing the props and the costumes and the sets for the films.
Yes, I think what we can do is, there's some rocks. Also working on how the kids will be using the equipment. So we started teaching them how to use the camera and the sound equipment and what levels to look out for, how to frame an image.
I think the only thing is that the taniwha may need to be closer to the camera because they will knock the set over.
The fourth day we spent shooting one of the kids' films, and they all had such a great time.
The thing I learned was being quiet and working as a team. The music has to suit the type of movie and like the speed, the tempo and everything.
Everyone was being creative and working as a team.
Facial expressions tell a lot about a story.
Everyone at the team is important.
Everybody was allowed to have a turn at doing everything, and I think that was a really neat process.
In the last workshop, in workshop number 5, we were filming the second film. And by that time we already had reps on the first one, and we managed to bring a rough cut along to show the kids. So about halfway through the last workshop we huddled around the computer and watched all 90 seconds of the first film together with the kids, and it was amazing for me to see them glued to the screen, but also for them to see what it is that they have achieved.
We turned up a bunch of filmmakers who had worked with kids a couple of times before, but not that much, and the community really gave us an opportunity to just give it a go. And that's what the whole sort of ethos of the workshops was just getting in there and seeing if we could make it happen.
My favourite part of the workshop was going to the dance, acting, filming and costume making.
So the directing and sort of choosing the scenes.
Painting.
Getting to know everyone's name.
Acting.
Sketching. Making the costume.
Going to the museum.
Even though that we were there with our skills and all of our equipment and stuff, they were the ones who really led the project.
The Film for Change team were not intrusive in it. They allowed the children to lead it and go where the children wanted to go.
It went really well. I think the kids really enjoyed and were proud of what they came up with.
I certainly hope that we can run this program again. I think if we run it again, I'll be happy.